New Thought Media Network proudly presents Having Courageous Conversations, where real talk dives deep. Each week we go beyond surface talk. We open our hearts, speak our truths, and dive into the stories that shape us. No scripts, no filters, just powerful, unforgettable conversations about life, purpose, healing, and truth. Join the conversation, because your voice belongs here. Please like, share, and subscribe. Check out our YouTube channel at Having Courageous Conversations or email us at yourshowyourvoice@gmail.com. Now, let's have a courageous conversation.
The views and opinions of our guest and hosts do not necessarily reflect those of New Thought Media Network, or any organization we may be affiliated with. Here at New Thought Media Network, we welcome freedom of speech and courageous conversations. There are many topics that can be difficult to navigate. Challenging the status quo and engaging in lively debate is important to expanding our understanding of one another, and life in general. Creating a peaceful world doesn't happen because no one disagrees, it happens from a willingness to understanding one another. In our programming, we strive to expand consciousness and assist people in creating remarkable lives. Your comments are welcome at info@ntmedia.org.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are coming to us from, whether you are live or you are watching this show after the live session. Welcome to today's episode of Courageous Conversations. Having Courageous Conversations is a heartfelt, spirit-led online series where we explore the transformative power of honest dialogue. Rooted in authenticity, compassion, and spiritual awareness, this show invites voices from all walks of life to engage in meaningful conversations. Many times, conversations we often avoid, but deeply need to be having. I'm Cheryl Rogers, and I'm delighted to be here with my wonderful co-host, Mark Dupuis. And together we'll be guiding this conversation with Jules and Josh Fritz, which is an absolute joy. If you've been with us before with them, I know that we'll have fun today. So Mark, I'm going to hand over to you.
Thanks, Cheryl. And it's a pleasure to co-host with you. And now I'm going to introduce Jules and Josh, and I've done an abbreviated introduction because I know we will talk further in the show. And so here we go. Jules and Josh help leaders, organizations, and entrepreneurs align their authentic selves with how they show up in the world so they can find freedom, create impact, and lead with clarity. Part 2, I think there's actually a part 3 in this, but part 2 of their journey, Courageous Conversations. Jules and Josh Fritz move beyond their origin story and into lived experience. Together, they explore what it truly means to live in alignment, not as an abstract idea, but as a daily practice shaped by values, choices, and priorities. Through honest, grounded conversation, they reflect on how alignment shows up in life, love, family, and purpose-driven work, especially when things are complex or demanding. This episode is an invitation to consider what matters most, how values are embodied over time, and what it takes to stay aligned in a world that constantly pulls us off center. Isn't that true? You can wake up and go, ta-da, and then go around the corner and something goes, hello. You think you're aligned?
Take that! Think fast!
Take that, yeah. Exactly. Yes.
It reminds me of something I read the other day. It said I asked for patience, and then I got to stand in a lineup, at the Service Canada, and I got to be in a lineup at the car wash, and I got into slow traffic. I asked for it, right?
I know. That's the whole
Give me
hard part.
patience.
We think it's going to be a beautiful walk.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be lovely as we learn the lesson. But I
Yes.
call this world our spiritual gym. Okay. That's how we build these muscles, these spiritual muscles of ours through the practice.
Okay. So do you have an example, like right off the get-go of, okay, I thought I was getting up and I was this, and then that happened? Anything that pops to mind right here, right now?
What comes up for you?
Well, every single day, I mean, we're caregivers to both our children and our Jules' mom. We call her Mamita. She is 81 years old with advanced Alzheimer's. And so every day is kind of, who knows? I mean, like, the kids can wake up and be sour. Mamita can wake up and not want to, not be in a good space, which is just part of the disease, unfortunately. So, every day of our life and of everybody's life, everybody has their own different struggles that they deal with that have kind of, become their life. And so for us, we just have a very specific, set of those that we've immersed ourselves into. Like, we've chosen to be with our kids full time every day and homeschool them. We've chosen to be caregivers. We've chosen to live in this beautiful camper that you see behind us that we call Lovey. We've chosen these things. And but those things can easily create, friction.
Yeah.
In the middle of
I think it's also like for our life, we don't necessarily have as many comforts, if you will, or things that the average person has. For example, I was going to say space. We have 200 square feet and 6 people. So for us, we have to learn how to not only live with each other, but also live within ourselves. So that way we are showing up in the way that we want to show up, right? In those moments where life, is lifing, and you're in those moments and you go, okay, I know what to do here. Take a breath. So we're all really good of, just reminding each other to just, okay, let's take a breath. A lot of hugs going on. It's like, hey, this.
I'm frozen. Oh, did Jules and Josh
everybody
just
back?
Freeze?
Yeah. Can you see us?
Are we here now?
Again.
Okay.
Just breathe, right? Just taking a deep
Yeah,
breath.
Breathe through it. Yeah.
Listen, whenever you start talking in the deep realms of spirituality, then all of a sudden the electronics fry.
It is not
Yeah.
uncommon where we like blow the tech up. So
It's okay.
It happens to me
Yeah.
just about every.
I like that.
We're bouncing our internet off of a satellite, which is rotating through the sky somewhere. So who knows?
That's right.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll work out.
Mhm. Yeah, I wanted to say to people, what's behind you is not a screenshot. That is your real camper that you live in.
Oh,
This is our house on
Yeah.
wheels. Yeah. So we have a 1983 vintage Airstream. Lovey, like Josh said, the love ship. And we have taken her everywhere. And we continue to do so. We love this life, and we love the ability to live in our values and not only travel, but also have just a more simplistic way. It doesn't mean that it's easier. It's just more simple. And that allows us the opportunity to focus more on what's important to us, what matters most.
I love that. I love that. And I think all these challenges that you talk about is not easy, right? So these things come up, but they teach all of you great lessons. Your kids are learning so much about spirituality and how to be in the future and how to manage things. like anger and tension and conflict and all these other things that they may not experience in the same way in the normal school system, which is fabulous.
Right.
Yeah, and that's something that, Jules is really good at making sure that if there's like a little bit of a tiff happening between, two people and the camper, whether it's two of the kids or whoever, she doesn't just, sweep that away and let it go. It's like, no, let's work. What is that? Like, what's the problem? What's going on between you? And that's something that the kids, have a hard time with, obviously, because, they're kids and they're still developing their own little intelligence systems and trying to understand how to interact with each other and with the world. But by keeping them engaged with each other and making sure that they're being compassionate, that they're being kind, that they're being aware of themselves and their actions, it's teaching them how to be in the world in a way that's not invasive into other people's space. And I think so many times that's where, people just get too comfortable with just, jumping into other people's space without being aware of themselves.
Right. It's a big philosophy of mine that the repair is what's most important. We're going to mess up, right? We're going to mess up. I'm going to say something that potentially bothers you. I might even hurt your feelings, even though that's not my intention, not what I want to do. But I also have this opportunity to repair. And so teaching that, the making of peace is a big thing between us. And the kids know, it's not just going to be, oh, we had this big scuffle and we said these things and, oh, now we're going to pretend that didn't happen. No, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to talk about it. And so, and it's good because everybody gets a chance to know that their voice matters, their feelings matter, and we make space for it. Right. So not only as the adults, but also I share this with them. Hey, how you feel matters to me. Your voice matters. And I know that my voice will be their inner critic when they grow up. So I have to make sure that I'm really planting those seeds that I want to flourish within them. And I want them to grow up knowing that their voice matters, how they feel matters. Right. It's really important. So, yeah, when we started really digging into emotional intelligence, I remember our oldest Julian saying, wow, I'm really glad that the kids in school get to learn about this kind of stuff. And I was like, the kids in school don't really get to learn about this. And he goes, what? How could they not learn about this? So it was just, such a moment of realizing his value, right? Knowing the value of this teachings, right? Of knowing that this is important.
You bring up a question for me. Well, two actually. You have two children. I wondered how old they are. And the other is, as you're talking, you're saying, I'm sorry, your son's name again is?
Julian. We have three kids.
Three.
We have three kids.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, it's okay.
I heard two for some reason. But
yeah, we have twins. So I mean, it's kind of like two.
It's like one person.
It's like one person split, but they're totally different. Yeah. But yeah, so we have three. We have our 12-year-old Julian, who authored a book the day after his 7th birthday called "You Are the Sky," teaching that you are not your feelings. And then we have our twinkles that are now 7. So, which is wild. Everybody had a birthday in January. So my mama heart is trying to keep up with all this growth.
So 12 and 7, and especially your 12-year-old at this point, how does he interact with the world outside of mom and dad and your living now? How does he interact with his peers?
I tell you what, our kiddo has the most confidence of any human being I've ever met.
Yeah, he's incredible.
he's like he's so grounded, and really they all are. They are all grounded in who they are. They know who they are. And there is no doubt about them being okay with who they are. And with Julian, he's really into music, and now he's gotten into sharing his music. He's got a violin, and he'll put on concerts, I mean, for large groups. And he's just started playing the violin a couple of months ago.
Never had a lesson.
Just
never.
And he's just flowing from his heart, just playing, and it sounds great. So, you know, there's just all these things that make them.
Did they get to play? Did they get to play with kids their own age?
Yeah. So
socialize. That's where I'm going there.
Yeah, I was going to say, so they absolutely do. They also have pen pals that they've picked up along our travels. And it's just been really cool. So we are currently in Florida right now, and we got to meet up with some of their best friends that they haven't seen in a while. So it's, you know, reconnecting, but they're also very confident in making friends on the playground and just being, you know, in the moment and just recognizing, oh, this is my friend for today. I may not get to see them again, but I'm glad I had this experience with you. So it's been really cool. And that's the beauty of our life, is since we go all over the place, they're meeting all kinds of different people, adults, children in different environments, and they're learning and gaining all kinds of things, and also getting to learn about themselves at the same time.
Beautiful. And
thank you.
Yeah, in a healthy way. I mean, you know, it's it makes me think about some of us, like me, still learning to love myself. You know, that's a spiritual practice. Love yourself. If you don't love yourself, how can you love others, is what they say, right? And
absolutely.
So your kids are growing up with the right spiritual practices in place, so they won't have to undo or deconstruct anything when they're adults.
Exactly.
Yes. And that is the goal. That is the goal. And, you know, I'll tell you, we had a homeschool lesson on Valentine's Day, and the whole lesson, the main lesson every Valentine's Day, is self-love. We talk about self-love. And so I remember a couple years ago, we created Valentines for ourselves. And it was a beautiful practice. And we just wrote a letter to ourselves or drew a picture, whatever, and just held that for the day where you didn't feel so lovable. And so you could pull that card out and tell yourself or remind yourself of what you need to know. And that you are loved and you love you, right? So it's just, we're grateful that we have the opportunity to be with them, right? Like, so we've designed our life to be able to focus on what matters the most, which is our family dynamic, knowing that when we are together, we are the strongest. And when we are our strongest, that's when the really great stuff can happen, you know? So we've had the opportunity to work and in the hustle culture, if you will, and make all those dreams come true. But we always knew once we had kids, that was going to be our number one priority, you know? So we were able to shift that accordingly. And it wasn't necessarily an easy path, because we had to, as we talked about in our first interview, you know, we had to walk away from a lot in order to make that our new reality. But it has been a fantastic one, and that feels good. That feels right and feels the strongest.
I have,
for those who haven't seen you before in an interview, Jules, can you let us know what you did as a career before you're doing what you're doing now, and same as Josh? Just a brief.
Yeah. So Josh and I, we ran a multi-million-dollar beauty agency in Savannah, Georgia. It was great. It was check all the boxes. We got to work with all the fancy people and do the fancy things. And then we were like, so we thought this was going to feel different. We thought we were going to be fulfilled by this, and that wasn't the case. So we decided to leave at the height of my career as the makeup artist, the head makeup artist for the company, and get into this camper right here
with Julian,
and
who was 3 at the time.
Julian was just shy of 3, and we hit the road and we took a leap of faith, and it was exactly what we needed to do, exactly in the moment that we needed to do it.
And just as a side note to understand the reason towards that shift, I've always been I'm a background guy. I'm a tech guy. I'm a fix it. I can, you give me a problem or tell me you want to do something and I can figure out how to do it. So when I was seeing her, not feeling so fulfilled with her job, with the things that she was doing, and we as a couple were just like, this is just gonna, we could see the future, like this is just going to continue down the same thing.
There's
it's just
got
going
to be
keep
more
repeating.
to it than this.
There's got to be more to it. Exactly. And she was also having these situations with clients. Women would sit in her chair and they would talk about, or have a hard time looking at themselves in the mirror. And then they would open up to her, and she became like a chair-side therapist, And so in her, she was feeling this need to move beyond makeup, move beyond beauty, and explore this deeper aspect of who she was, because it was coming out. It was, people were confiding in her because she is a really talented listener, a really talented person for pinpointing where beliefs and values have gone astray, and seeing those patterns in people, and that needed to be developed. And so we spent 2 years on the road just figuring a lot of things out. And then we spent even longer, once we came off the road, continuing to try to figure out how this was actually going to be a business, how we would actually move it forward into the world. And that's where we are today, is moving it forward into the world. And we have now, along the way, created books. We've created Miracle Lab. We've helped various clients, both in coaching and in helping to create their businesses, and work in passion projects, doing things that they love versus things that they feel like they have to do. These are all things that are passionate, they're passions of ours. And it's been a lot of fun to kind of bring that around.
That key moment of the women that I was teaching how to do their makeup sitting across from me and having that realization that you spoke about earlier, Cheryl, of I need to love myself. But their idea was, I can't love myself. I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. And all of that started pouring out. So there was that kept happening. And I just wanted to be able to hold the space responsibly for them and feel like in that moment of vulnerability that I could make a deeper and greater impact in their life and help them, versus feeling like, you're just kind of feeling lost for the words of what to say. And, just kind of doing the best I could. I wanted to get trained in holding that space responsibly and feeling solid in myself, of knowing what I was doing, that I could hold them, right? That I could hold that. And, for Josh, he was so supportive from day one on that. Like, yeah, this always happens to you.
Yeah, it did.
People just pour their heart out. And I'm like, and I'm here for it. I'm happy to. I feel like it's an honor. So develop for me to develop writing, for me to develop my area of focus on speaking, learn more about that wellness, counseling, and work more into those areas was really important for me to really develop that. And from there, things started to grow. It was like, oh, we're podcasting. Now I'm writing now every week on my newsletter. It just kind of kept developing another layer of it to now where we are with Miracle Lab and helping in the capacity that we're helping.
Yeah. And what it made me think of was moving from outer beauty to inner beauty.
And integrating it really.
Integrating it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because
that's a big thing.
Yeah. One of the things that one of my mentors says, if you don't go within, you go without.
That's so good. That's so good. And what I learned was everybody kind of, it didn't matter if you were like an everyday lady wanting to learn how to wear eyeliner to a celebrity that's always in front of the camera. The core wounds, if you will, like the core insecurities were all pretty much the same. It all came down to worthiness. It all came down to that enoughness. And so for me to be able to go and say, okay,
she'll come back.
She will. It's close enough to a commercial break. Should we go there to a commercial break now?
Deja, what do you think?
Are we back?
Are we
Just
back?
for you guys, yeah. So we missed whatever you said, Jules, in the last little segment.
Oh, I was just saying that through that realization of the core insecurities of just knowing that we wanted to be able to help on that deeper level, and within that deeper level, knowing that we could also be the example of that, right? So like it really has nothing to do with you wearing makeup. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with how you look. It's about how you feel about how you look, right? Like, do I feel good about me, how I'm showing up? If I don't, that's a different belief system, right? And so being able to work in the belief system at the core was the real fun part for me, was to feel like, yeah, like now we're getting into the good stuff, right? And so for us to be able to live our life and be an example of, hey, if your dream of, if your desires are different than what the culture says, then that's okay, right? Yeah. Like, look at us. We walked away from things and we're still surviving, not only surviving, thriving, happy, feeling joy. And so for us to be able to give the example, we feel like is good leadership, right? So giving that, modeling that of, hey, well, if they can do it and they have survived and they have 6 people, hey, wait a minute, maybe I can do something. Maybe I can.
Well, I was going to ask you, when are you going to start a education movement for kids or parenting or something like that?
Well, we definitely help families now, through Julian's book. So I've created 2 children's programs that helps kids to learn what to do with their feelings. And then my book is more of a companion guide of helping the parents then know what to do with the big feelings. So I wouldn't say that's a primarily like advertised focus of our work. However, it's absolutely a good byproduct of what we do.
Right.
Well, it's time.
I just want to point out, because we're going to be going on a break, but I just wanted to point out to those who are watching, you talk about how you show up in the world and being in alignment. And while you were talking, you froze. You froze for a minute or 2. And then when you came back on, you didn't skip a beat. You just, okay, I'm back now. And you just, to me, that's showing up in alignment. You're showing up as what you're saying you are doing. So good example.
When we come back, my question is, living in alignment, what does that look like on a Tuesday? Okay. So we're going to take a quick break. Don't go away. We'll be back with more from Jules and Josh Fritz, and we'll see you in a moment.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Home Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you.
You're on mute, my dear.
Yep. Thank you, everyone, for staying with us. Cheryl and Mark here with Jules and Josh, and we're excited to continue the conversation. So my question just before we left for a short break was, what does living in alignment look like on a Tuesday or any day?
Well, on a Tuesday, it's Taco Tuesday, of course.
That's right.
So
She's always got on her taco socks.
So having, and it's funny that you said a Tuesday, because I was like, I know exactly what happens. And so there's a comfort, if you will, in knowing that there's some things that we can control, right? So that helps with a lifestyle that is very much so, on the road and changes all the time. So living in alignment is about our ability to be real about what is most important to us, what we believe for us, for our family, and showing up as that, in that, all the time. So when there's things that show up on a Tuesday or whatever day that don't feel right, that aren't within our values, we know, we can feel it. We identify that. We're like, not going to do that. Not going to go there. So we've learned those lessons throughout our lives, and our kids seeing us pay attention to that, they will keep us straight too. They'll say, I don't know about this, and we absolutely, again, their voice matters, how they feel matters. And so we all are in this process together, living in alignment, living our values, because if it feels right for one of us, it's got to feel right for all of us in order for it to be in true alignment.
I'll give you an example. Tomorrow I had where we are, we're actually in Lake Placid, Florida right now. And there's a local organization that I got introduced to that wanted to have a meeting with me tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's a travel day for our family, and we need to be on the road to get where we're going. We need to get on the road by like 1 o'clock. So if I'm going to have a meeting in the morning, it's potentially going to last maybe 2 hours. That puts me leaving my family behind for 2 hours and having to go do this meeting with these other people. Right. And I'm not here to do my part in helping us get ready to travel. So I'm putting an unfair burden on her. I'm putting an unfair burden on the kids because they're going to feel her stress. And it's just all the way around. It's not a fair situation. It's not ideal. And so we had to push back and say, no, that really doesn't work for us. I know that works for you, but that doesn't work for us. Can you do tomorrow, meaning today? And they said, no, that doesn't work either. And so I said, okay, how about this? I'll send you my link whenever we can get together on a video call. We'll do it virtually. The work I do is virtual anyway, so we don't have to meet in person to talk about this. And we'll just work it like that. How does that work for you? And they said, oh, that's great. That works better for us anyway.
Yeah.
And so that was just a moment of standing in our values of saying, this isn't going to work for us. This is going to create struggle with our family, even if it's only a few minutes. And would it be beneficial to our family? Potentially. I could potentially, land this client and bring income into the household. That would be great. But it doesn't have to be if or that.
Well, at what cost too?
Exactly. It doesn't have to be.
That's the other
It doesn't
side
have
of
to
it.
be. I have to do it this way in order to get this. There's always another route you can try to take in order to stay within your values and still get the end result that you want. You just have to be firm in your positioning.
And I think that positioning being based on your values, right, of what's important for you, and family, it being good for the whole family, being, the core of Josh's story, it's about that. We don't have to chase that, right? Like, that's the decision and in that just particular story, but it's the energy of like, well, I don't want to tell them that that's not convenient. I don't want to tell them. I just want to be, pleasing and just, okay, sure. Whatever, sometimes you're flexible and you're like, sure, no big deal. It doesn't, this day doesn't matter to that day. Sure. No problem. Sometimes it does matter. Right. And so the ability to say, that's not going to work. Let's try again. Oh, that's not going to work. How about this? Right. And then you land on that place, and that it feels good for everybody. And then that's the alignment point. And
that's the way that you feel your way through things. As we talked to one of the kids about this yesterday, about the feeling of peace, about, when you're talking to Julian about, he's like, how do I know when I'm in alignment? How do I know when I'm listening in properly? And we're like, well, the Holy Spirit's guiding you based on what your body feels. Right. Spirit's talking to you. Yeah. You know it. And he was like, well, is it a voice? And I was like, maybe it might be, here's the thing. It'll show up however it shows up. It's not for me to say what it's going to be. You'll know. But the main thing is that you'll feel peace. You'll feel this feeling of just settled ease. Calm, ease. Yeah, ease. I said, now, if you feel confused, that's usually a sign that that's not the right. And he started thinking, so like feeling anxious about something that might not be the right thing. And I was like, beautifully said. Exactly. Look at those. Look at those kiddos.
What's the story behind? That's a plane, right?
Yeah. So we live. Yes, we live in.
We do not have an airplane.
Yeah, we live in Hopeful, Georgia, which is in the middle of the country. But down the road from us, there's a local airport, and all around us there are hunting plantations that bring in people that have private planes that come to this place to hunt. And so I went out to the airport one day because Julian was in love with airplanes. I was like, let's go see if there's any planes out there. And there were all these private jets lined up. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And I was like, I had no idea that this was going to be here. And then so we just played around all day and looked at the private jets. And then actually somebody invited us to come aboard a private jet. And we took a little tour inside of a private jet and got to sit in one of the big comfy armchairs. I was like, hey guys, I'm 40 and I've never sat in a private jet before. So you guys are having an experience.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So just being open, right? Yeah. Being open.
And that was another thing with being in alignment. It was just like, we're following what our kids like. He liked airplanes. You see his goggles that he had on. He's wearing a mask, like a diving mask.
Yes,
but he was wearing them as if they were aviator goggles. Like that was his version of pretend.
So cute, so cute.
It is. It's so precious. Yeah, precious. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Why did you come here today? Is there a specific message that you wanted to relay today in this podcast, in this show?
Well, I think we're here because the gracious invitation to come back, because we had so much fun with you all the first time sharing our story. And we were so into sharing the story, we only got, I think, a little bit into it. So it felt so natural to come back and share more. And again, it's about sharing. We're using our life as an example so others can see and go, oh, wait, they're doing things differently. And that's okay. maybe I can do things differently, and that can be okay too. You know, it's just being able to see that representation a bit more, we feel is important. And you may not want to live in a camper. I'm not saying that that's everybody's cup of tea. What I'm saying is whatever it is that you like, give that some attention. Right? Give yourself the permission, if you will, to explore whatever it is that you like. And, you know, when we get to work with entrepreneurs, for example, we love when they are in this place of saying, I love this, whatever it is, whatever their thing is. And they're like, I love it. I love it. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to make this a job. I don't know how to make this something that brings you money, right? And we're like, well, first of all, we got to keep the joy. Don't think of it as a job, right? It's a different J word. Let's keep it joyful. Understand that it being a revenue stream is sustainability. So thinking about it that way helps to keep it preserved, right? But we love that energy, and people look at us and they see it and they go, wait a minute, what are you guys doing? And that's something that always kind of happened for me, even as a makeup artist. I remember I was teaching a makeup class, and 3 sisters looking around at my studio, and I was just like, they are very distracted. You know? And finally, one of them spoke up and she said, how do you get to do this? Just very matter of fact, how do you get to do this? You seem okay. How do you get to do this? And I was like, what do you mean? And what the core of it, this was, again, one of my life coaching situations before I was actually coaching, right? And she says, it turns out she was in the process of going to medical school and didn't want to. She wanted to go into the family business of being a photographer. And she felt that she had already made this decision. And, she, you know, being an artist, if you will, was just not going to pay the bills. So she went the safe route, quote unquote, safe route. And so she was almost bothered by the fact that I get to do this, you know, but it was fantastic because we got to have a really deep conversation about what her true desires were. And so just the fact that she was so rattled by it, right? But I had to be living in my values. I had to be living my truth in order for her to see, wait a minute, I'm not in alignment. I actually don't love this program. She ended up having a heart-to-heart with her family, and they fully supported her leaving medical school and then going into the family business. And now she's super successful. They all are. So it ended up being a fantastic situation. And had I not been living my truth and okay sharing that, then, you know, it might have been a different situation. So,
and that honestly parallels my story, you know, a bit. You asked earlier what my background was before I ever met Jules, and where I was at in my life was I was essentially pushed as a kid, you know, to go out. I was told, you want to go on vacations, you want to have money, you want to have nice things, you go get a good job, you know, go get a good job, work your way up the ladder, do whatever you got to do, and you'll have all the things that you want. That was what I was taught as far as how things can go the way you want in your life. And so I came out of college, you know, graduated top of my class in college and came out, and I got a job in a corporate structure where I was trying to work my way up that structure, and it was slowly trying to kill me. It was destroying my values. It was taking me far away from my true self as being wholeness, right? It was a very difficult thing to manage, because I'm like, I have the things that I was told that I needed. I have the things. They're here. I did the things. I got the degree. I got the job. I'm good at it.
I got the benefits.
I got the bonuses. I got the car. You know, all the things. I got all these things, but it's not working for me. I don't understand what's going on here. And then it was funny, because my trip into entrepreneurship happened because we were getting married. We wanted a photo booth at our wedding, and found out that the only photo booth in town was really expensive. And it wasn't even, I didn't even really like it that much. I was like, hold up. They charge how much money for this thing?
And then the two entrepreneurial brains came together, and I was like,
we can start a photo booth business,
babe,
and
we could
make
do this.
Money off of this and have it for free at our wedding. And she's like, we'll go. And so that's what we did. And so I remember I did my first job, and I came home and I was like, that was fun.
It was fun.
I had fun tonight.
Finally.
I had fun doing what I was doing.
Finally, he was having fun, because I couldn't stand when he was in that position of, you know, working and chasing this job. And it was, you're only as good as your last, I don't
great
even,
accomplishment,
I was going to
client,
say
whatever win you had. It was only,
it was short-lived.
That was short-lived. And
right.
It's on, what's next? What's
so
next?
You
what's
were
next? What's next?
Always chasing the approval, always chasing your supervisor looking at you like you're doing something for them. And it got to the point where I was like, what do we need to do so you don't have to do this? Like, how much do I need to work so you don't do this anymore? I just talk to me, because I can't live like this anymore. And he was just getting to the point where he was just really sad. And so just even having that personal experience and him feeling that has created such a deep empathy within him, as well as within my heart, of when you see somebody that is really sad and struggling with the current life that they have, and they feel like there's got to be more to it than this, but I don't know how to get there. I don't know what to do with it. Right.
They feel trapped.
And so for us to feel like either through working with them or just hearing us, then that could inspire hope. That's everything.
Beautiful. And most people live the way you explained Josh's original way, right?
Yeah.
That's how we are programmed in society to be, and how to live and what to value and all this kind of thing. So I think that's a beautiful thing. And when you were talking, I thought to myself, okay, so living in joy is living in alignment.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's another
it's a natural
marker.
byproduct.
That's another marker of it.
Yeah.
So we talked about peace earlier, feeling it, joy. Oh my goodness, joy, really. And that was another part of the conversation with Julian. It's like, and if you feel happy, like, take note of that. You feel that joy in what you're doing, take note of that. And for us, that's how we know. You know, there have been times where people will be bold enough to tell us that they don't agree with how we live. And we understand, like, you have your right to your opinion. And we also will check in with ourselves and our children and say, hey, is everybody still good? How are we feeling? Oh, we still love this. Great. Because that's what matters. Right. And it's also having that boundary of knowing that they're allowed to have their opinions, but those opinions don't have to actually come in and corrode what's happening within my alignment system. You know, it doesn't change anything here, because what I feel in here is so strong and so solid and so peaceful and so joyful that I feel happy to put this message out there.
Oh, thank you, Christopher. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you, Christopher. We've mentioned your past episode, your past show, and I'm wondering if Deja could put it in the chat or on the screen, so anybody wants to see it, they can link to it right away. And my question
not right away, after this show.
After this show. Okay. I don't know this tech. Oh, you mean you not watch it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right after.
Yeah.
Yes. Go get some more snacks and then come back. And then
there you go. There you go. So
it's going to be the Jules and Josh afternoon for you.
I can have my values, my core beliefs, etc. But perhaps how I think today may be different than I think tomorrow, because I'll go, oh, I didn't realize that. I didn't think about that. So if you were to go back to your past episode, is there anything that you have changed in your belief now
that's
that
a
you
good
went,
question.
oh yeah, no, I think this now.
That episode was about being fully connected in all of the different realms, right? So for us, being connected in our marriage, being connected in our family, being connected in our purpose work, being connected with ourselves, being connected with the higher power, all the connections, right? And the thing is that for me, I personally feel like that episode, I think, was in October. I feel that things are pretty solid. I still feel the way that I did.
Mhm.
But I love that you asked that question, because it is something that does take a certain amount of vetting and checking. It's an auditing, if you will, right? It's like an alignment audit where you have to check in and go, do I still feel that way? Okay, does that still feel true? And adjusting it, right? It's not like I write this in concrete, in stone, and that's it. Now I feel this way forever. No, it's got to be something that is also flexible with how much you're learning and growing, because my awareness may broaden, my heart may expand differently, I may have a different experience. So since that episode to now, I think our values have maintained. If anything, I think as a family, we've also had different experiences with oh, there we are. we've had different experiences with more travels and all that kind of thing. So I feel like we're always picking up more perspectives as we go, right? More perspectives. And just it deepens the value of inclusivity, of accepting what is, and also meeting people where they are instead of trying to drag them into your own reality, right? You know, like that type of place to be is really that position of love. And I think since the last episode, I've had a deeper understanding of unconditional love. That's something that I personally, within my values, have really been working in and deepening more.
Right.
Yeah, just understanding the conditional love that we've been grown up with, taught, right? And then also understanding, okay, well, how do I not only hold this unconditional love and receive it, but how do I just have this deeper relationship with it? And I keep using the word deeper because it feels like so intimate and so at the core, right? Because I feel like that is just the foundation for me. Anything for you?
No, I mean, I think you said that well. There's definitely, you go through, as we travel and we see different people that we haven't seen in a long time. We recently went and saw family that we haven't seen in 15 years. I mean, they hadn't met our kids. And it was just a reaffirming of that, that we've made the right choice in living the life that we do, so that we can take ourselves and go to the places that we need to connect with people, because it's so hard to get everybody to come to you. Right. It's just really difficult to always be asking everybody, come to me. And so we're just like, you know what, we'll go to you. And so we travel around and we get to see all these people, and we don't just go and drop in for 2 hours and then leave. We're in their driveway. We're in somebody's driveway right now.
Don't invite us over.
Yeah.
Unless you want us to come over.
Because we're coming over.
Okay, we're coming over.
We're in somebody's driveway right now. We're at a friend's house. She has our kids inside watching a movie right now. She gets to play grandma, and doesn't have any kids or grandkids, so she gets to play like grandma.
She loves it. She's like, I'm so happy. It had been, I don't know how many years before we got to spend time with this person that I was tight with when I was a little girl. She was a big influential grown up in my life that was very supportive and loving, and now she's with my kids right now, so I'm getting to have this experience with you all, and simultaneously another experiences happening as well. And with the South Florida, for example, it kind of plays well into what I was saying about unconditional love, because the family we went to see, that family member has dementia. And so she and my mom did not remember each other, right? Both having, one having Alzheimer's, one a different type. And so within that, they did recognize each other, though. On some level, the love within them totally knew, and they were so loving and caring.
Kissed
and
each other.
It was so sweet and precious. And we were like, oh my gosh, thank God we have the ability to come do this, because this is what matters. Who knows what's going to happen, right? And every day is not promised. So for us to be able to say, hey, we're going to come over for the weekend and we're going to just give them space to just be, it was priceless to be able to have that experience. So yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. And it sounds like what you're talking about is evolving, right? It's an evolution when you expand in yourself. And you bring that to everything and everyone around you. And that story
That's
about
the goal.
and that, is just, like you said, precious, absolutely precious.
So people do have a hard time when we leave. I will say that our family has an effect on people because, and I think it's just because, a lot of people, they don't understand our life from a distance. They're like, I don't get what you guys are doing. But then when we go visit, they're like, they see that there's a really strong family unit. They see a really loving group of people. They see our kids who are very well adapted and they're very confident in who they are. And they're like, you guys are doing it right. That's what we hear over and over again. You guys are doing such a good job as parents. You guys are doing it right.
Which is a beautiful, like, cherry on top to the feeling like you're doing it right, though. Right. You know what I mean? Like, that's nice. And I love hearing that. Thank you so much. Right. And it's also like, thank you for recognizing what I feel inside. That's really what the truth of it is. And I know that this moment of time that we're in with our kids being the ages they are and still being kids, is very precious. And I just want to be available to it and soak it all up and, have no regrets on it and just feel like, man, I got every bit of it that I could. I left no life on the table. Okay. I got it all. I snatched it up. I didn't leave any behind.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So we are coming to the end of our show, which, we're always surprised by, but, I'm thinking, like, what would you maybe like to say to other parents out there, about raising their kids in alignment?
I would say let them follow their curiosities without judgment and just support them and reinforce unconditional love. Right. That's a really hard thing to do. Because we're conditioned that if our kids don't fit in, if they don't fit the mold, if I'm an athlete and my kid can't run, that I've failed, right? And so many different variations of that. Your kids are going to be who they're going to be. And the best thing you can do is let them know that they are loved and accepted for who they are, no matter what. Yep. There's nothing that can stop that. And if they believe that is true from the people they love most, who is their parents, if they believe that, then they will be okay.
For me, the biggest thing is that for kids to know that you are on their team, you are on their side. Knowing that is really such a powerful structure and foundation, and being able to go in and repair and being able to say, hey, I messed up on that one, or I didn't mean to say that. I shouldn't have said that, whatever, as the parent going in and being big enough, brave enough. I was embodying those values, right? Everyone messes up, but the repair is really the gold of it. And that knowing that makes us stronger. It doesn't make me look weak. It teaches so much, and it forges that bond in such a beautiful way that would be my biggest point to share. Beautiful.
And so in wrapping up, if anybody that's watching, wants to follow us and know what's going on, we're not huge on social media, but Jules writes a beautiful weekly newsletter. Please go to themiraclelab.org and sign up for our newsletter. We also are traveling around and we do keynote speaking and workshopping, and are happy to, travel to where you are. So give us a call.
Beautiful.
Yeah, get in touch.
Beautiful. What a wonderful way to wrap up. Thank you so much. You are such wonderful guests to have. And we always look forward to seeing you guys and hearing from you. And like you said, perhaps we'll do this again, maybe in Canada or up north in the summer.
Where will we be next?
Where
To
in
be
the world?
determined.
To be
But thank you for
determined.
being such kind host and so thoughtful in your questions. It's always a pleasure and an honor to share space with you.
Thank you. So to everybody that's watching, please like, share, and subscribe. And we hope to see you next week. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
On behalf of everyone at New Thought Media Network, thank you for being a member of our virtual family. Your financial contributions help share the New Thought message with people from around the world. Please visit and contribute at www.ntmedia.org/donate. New Thought Media Network, come be you. And please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace and blessings.